Yesterday, as we were talking about Jordan Love and the conundrum the Packers had and whether or not to pick up his fifth-year option and what they were going to do about it, when we played the Brian Gutekunst sound, the neuron fired, and I never embraced it, the possibility of just using this uncertainty, because we talked about it with Blake Bortles yesterday, too.
Yeah.
That's what the Jaguars did with him as they were on the brink of his fifth-year option becoming fully guaranteed. It was injury guaranteed. It's ready to become fully guaranteed first day of the league year. They tore it up and replaced it with a new deal.
Right.
I had that idea bouncing around, and I didn't say it. They could just use this as an occasion to work out a contract. Now, I didn't think short-term deal that would simulate the fifth-year option if he hits certain performance triggers, which I think is what they've done.
Yeah, it seems like it.
They've given him the ability to make up to the full amount of the fifth-year option, but he's going to have to play, and he's going to have to play well. He gets $13 million instead of $2 million in change that he was due to make this year, so it's a win-win. But that happened yesterday, not long after we wrapped up the show. I'd say within an hour after we finished, the reports started to land of a 2-year contract between Jordan Love and the Packers that simulates the fifth-year option, protects the Packers against him not earning it this year, but gives him an extra $10 million fully guaranteed to counter the risk of injury and ineffectiveness, because if he's just terrible this year, he's got nothing more. So he gets an extra $10 million based on the presumption that he's going to earn it, and then he can earn a lot more on top of it.
Yeah, that's right. I think he even has a chance, maybe if he hits all the escalators, to even outdo the fifth-year option price tag.
No,
right
it
there.
matches it.
It matches it. Okay, all right.
The total for 2 years, $22.5 million.
Right.
Up to $22.5. That's the total that he would have made this year and next year if they'd exercised the fifth-year option. So if he hits all the markers, he gets what he would have gotten if they'd pick up the fifth-year option.
Yeah, it's a great move by the Green Bay Packers. It makes can settle Jordan Love down a little bit. Settle the whole conversation that we talk about. Where hey, new contract. When are you going to get a new contract? Well, when's that on your radar? So that takes that out of the questions is from the media, at least as we go through the season and off season here. That's good. And like you said too, that's the thing. It protects Jordan Love. It's a win for him too, in case he does get hurt, or even if he just plays okay and they just go, okay, wait, all right, he plays okay, you're not going to be the starter next year. He's protected and going to be one of the higher paid backup quarterbacks in football within that. So I'm sure they were comfortable with that. And, they're obviously comfortable with him hitting the escalators. That'll be a good problem for them to have either way. So, yeah, smart move by Green Bay. It really was. I didn't think about it. I know as soon as it came out, you texted that like, I wish I would have said it. And, it's a good move by both sides here.
Well, and you take one good problem to have and you replace it with a different problem. And the reality is you've got him under contract for 2 years. So you get the benefit of the fifth-year option without the full price of the fifth-year option. And I can't help but wonder whether or not what the Packers have done here, copycat league, is this something the Giants should have done with Daniel Jones last year? Is this something other teams will do with their quarterbacks or other players? In lieu of picking up the fifth-year option, you go to the player and say, let's work out a 2-year deal to replace the fourth year of your rookie contract and simulate the fifth-year option, but give us some protection and give you some protection.
No, I know. I think the Daniel Jones situation is a little different. I know what you're saying there. And what I pose to you, too, because I saw some of this a little bit like, oh, maybe this will be a new thing. But, all right, so say the Giants did do that to Daniel Jones before last year, and he has the year he has. Don't you think he's still going to ask for a new contract? That's where the other possibility here is. Jordan Love has a phenomenal year and goes 35 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, and Green Bay wins a playoff game. If he asks for more money, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, you signed that deal. I'm going to go, okay, yeah, he played. He's ready. He wants to be paid. Okay. Daniel Jones had played up to that point. I think they had seen enough to go, wait, we want to see him prove it with the right supporting staff here to earn the contract. Is a little different situation, but I get the point altogether there. I talked myself in a circle there a little bit.
Well, no, But I think what you're saying makes sense because, look, it's unique to the situation.
Right. That's
I think
what I'm
the Giants specifically wanted to dangle the carrot for Daniel Jones.
Right.
I think they wanted him to be in the position where he was in a contract year to get the most out of him, see if he would rise up to what they need from him and unlock in himself something we hadn't seen yet during the time he'd been playing. This is a unique case where you have a first-round pick that you specifically selected to be your future quarterback who has hardly played. We don't know what he's going to do. He doesn't know what he's going to do. Why don't we share this risk?
And make it a little more comfortable.
It's not fair for us as the team to take the full $20.3 million. It's not fair for you to only make $2 million and change in the fourth year of your rookie deal when you're going to be our starter. Gets back to what we were saying yesterday where, as it relates to Mahomes, you got to have a nice car if you're the starting quarterback of the team. And, the Phillip Rivers deal from a few years ago in Indy, you got to do something to take care of this guy. I mean, come on. It's kind of embarrassing that the Packers are only paying their starting quarterback $2.6 million or whatever the number is when they had given Aaron Rodgers this ridiculous contract for the final year of his time with the team. So I think the circumstance is different. And you're right. If Love plays great, he's still going to want a new contract. But the Packers still have the ability to say you're under contract for next year. You're under contract. So, and you know what? The one thing, since we're down this rabbit hole, because they've done a new deal that wipes out the fifth-year option, if he does hold out next year, he doesn't get himself into a situation where missing a preseason game results in a fine that's in the amount of a full regular season game check. That's what happens by rule under the CBA for the fifth-year option. So that's a reason for the player to do it because I'm still under contract for 5 years. But if I'm not happy with what I've agreed to take next year, I can take a stand. I can hold out a la Khalil Mack a few years ago with the Raiders. I'm in my fifth-year option. I want my long-term deal. I don't want to wait a year. I don't want to play the franchise tag game. I want it now. So I think everything's on the table based upon what he does this year. But he gets some protection this year. Packers get some protection next year. It really does feel like a win-win, and I think it could be used elsewhere, but it is a case-by-case thing because, Chris, for most guys who are at this point, they've played enough where you can make an informed decision. This is the one situation where we want him, he's our guy, but we don't know what he's
we're not sure.
He doesn't know what he's going to do.
Right. So let's make him a little bit more comfortable in this situation, and we can save our own butts here in case something happens unforeseen too. And, that's why I think it works for both sides there. Well, it's a good move by Green Bay. And I like Green Bay's draft. The Green Bay Packers football team, we know it underperformed last year. It's got potential. Him with those receivers, that running game, the new tight ends they got coming into town, that defense, I would think they're going to be a little chippy after underperforming from last year. I'm excited for the potential of Green Bay. And I'm excited to see, the potential of Jordan Love and what he can do with, taking this team by the reins and being the leader of the football team now that Aaron Rodgers is gone.
And as I think back on what we were talking about at about this time yesterday, the clue from GM Brian Gutekunst was we're going to work on that.
Yeah,
we're going to work on that.
Right.
And I remember thinking, what do you have to work on?
Yeah.
How do you not
we said
know
that, I think.
Where you are, where you stand? Like, what's there to work on? Well, you know what there was to work on. Working on a contract. That's what they were working on. That's why I'm pissed at myself for not pulling that thread. That's what we do. We come to the table here every day without a whole lot of stuff that we plan to say. We give very little thought, at least I know I do, in advance to what we plan to say. We get into organic conversations. We have ideas. We develop the ideas through our back and forth. And I'm pissed at myself, Chris, because I had an idea yesterday that I didn't properly develop. And
it's all right. You can't always be Nostradamus, all right? You're not the Oracle, all right? So don't worry. Your pasta and meatballs, it's still one of the best guts I know. So don't worry. You're still ranked very high on my list as far as that is concerned. But this Packer thing and this quarterback situation thing, like you talked about the contract, it'd be interesting to see if teams adopt this. But you're right. It's going to be this type of occasion. It's not going to be a thing where, it's odd to get this far down the road with a situation like this at the quarterback position, and we haven't really seen him play. But certainly it's out there now for other teams to follow.
It's an option that we're all now aware of.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether the teams have been aware of it for years, who knows? This is a fairly recent development where the fifth-year option is guaranteed fully and completely upon exercise, not upon the commencement of the next league year. So teams have kind of been feeling their way through it. Back when Doug Martin, a.k.a. the muscle hamster, and it's amazing, just another example of guys who were great players that you just kind of forget about once they're gone. The Buccaneers didn't pick up his fifth-year option. It was only injury guaranteed, and he went out and had a great contract year, and they paid him on the back end. But now it's higher risk for the team, fully guaranteed from the moment it's exercised, and now we all are aware. No team can say they're not aware of the opportunity to possibly work out a deal that simulates most of the fifth-year option and gives the player a chance to earn every penny of it in lieu of the team being on the hook for it. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.